mic is on. Beta alanine tingles are starting to kind of hit me. I forgot to add the beta alanine for the last 2 lifts in the pre. Oh my goodness, dude, a 2-day break. Now I'm really fucking feeling it. It's just kind of a wave of heat, kind of tingliness from like the back of my head forward to my face. Which, it's a little bit annoying, but not that bad, you know. At least I don't have to deal with like, you know, an itchy, you-know-where. I'm not in the gym reaching around back there scratching at it, but I do kind of I get it all in the face, a little bit of the back of the hands. But for some potential extra endurance mid-set, get an extra couple of reps out, worth it to me. Worth it to freaking me. I kind of matched the fucking pre-workout today. It was 2 scoops of the Roaring Grape Bloodshot, and then 1 scoop of the Bubblegum Grape Hostility. I'm purpled out. I'm purpled out right now. But plan for back and rear delts. I'm gonna keep following the method of kind of doing the workout until satisfaction. So I'm not just gonna get a back pump and then say, okay, I'm pumped, that means I'm done. That's not what's going through my head when I end the workout. You know, I'm kind of thinking to myself, okay, I feel fatigued enough that I think I've really stimulated the muscle. You know, I'm fully pumped, of course, does play a little bit of a role. And then, you know, with back, I'm gonna make sure I hit my whole back. I'm not just gonna do pull downs and just hit my lats. I'm gonna do an even mix of pull downs and rows, you know, back and forth a little bit. So I was throwing around a lot of weight on bent over barbell rows in the past. That was usually a staple opener for my back workouts on the last bulk, which I like the movement. I can really load up a lot of weight, throw around, well, a lot of weight, have a ton of tension on my traps and lats. Plus, it would pretty much start me off to a solid back pump every time. You know, I can't remember the last time I didn't get a good back pump. But kind of following the same logic on why I don't deadlift, I think I'm gonna kind of chill out with the bent over barbell rows. Because sure, it's a really good way to load your back. It's a solid rowing movement. But I feel like the fact that I've got to support myself by way of, you know, flexing my glutes, my hamstrings, my lower back, you know, I think I'm just kind of wasting energy, which I'd rather kind of put into, you know, a more stable row. So chest supported, honestly, I would probably prefer, like if this gym had a like T-bar row, chest supported, you know, where it's kind of 45 degrees, you bend down on the bench, and then you take the weight off of that little pin. If this gym had one of those, I would be spamming that. But seated cable rows, I do feel don't tax my whole system, even if it's really heavy, as much as the bent over barbell rows do. So I'm still gonna do the seated cable rows, and then pull downs, pull overs. I don't really need to do any shrugs just because my traps are developed enough. You know, I used to do shrugs a ton, pretty much every back day. Well, even though you can do it in different ways, I feel like at the end of the day, you're just doing shrugs. So if you're doing it with a dumbbell or barbell behind the back or cable or whatever, it's still a shrug, man. Your traps don't know if you're doing it with a bar or with a dumbbell. All they know is they're getting flexed and they get a lot of tension on them. So with some muscles, you know, I bring this up a lot, there's not a lot of ways to hit them. So there's no need to hit them in a lot of ways. Side delts, I don't mind doing a whole workout of just one side delt exercise, be it dumbbell lateral raise or machine lateral raise. Calves, all I do is calf raises, you know? Either seated or on a calf machine like standing or on a leg press. Because what's your calf doing? It just goes from, well, pretend this is my foot. It just goes from here to here, right? It's not that complicated. So same logic with back, even though I am going to do lat, you know, pulled down style movements as well as rowing style movements. Let's say I do some, you know, lat pull downs and I like the way they feel. I'll just use one handle, 3 sets, and then maybe I move on to the seated row, just do 3 sets there. You know, if I feel like I'm fully pumped, plus I pretty much hit the whole back, I might just call it. So I think that's the basic plan for once I get in there. The gym is only like a minute away from my house. I'm just kind of taking a roundabout way, but I'm stuck in some kind of traffic. There's a cop up there. Yeesh. So let's just get started. Let's see what the first working set is going to be. All right, so honestly, I really wanted to start with pull downs, but the pull downs are, let's just say, occupied. So instead, I think a little wider than shoulder grip straight bar rows, heavy as possible. Make sure I go pretty much as crazy as possible, and I'll decide if I want to do another one here or just move on to a pull down based movement. Okay. Let's do one more like that, and then move on to some kind of pull down or maybe a pull over. Not exactly sure. All right, let's do some kind of pull down base movement. Even though that was the stack for the first couple of reps, I was trying to focus on getting a full contraction. But of course, as I get more and more fatigued, I'm not just gonna rack it as soon as I can't, bounce my chest. I'm gonna try to go till I can barely move. But let's find something lat biased. All right, I'm gonna make use of my surroundings and get a quick spot on these. So once I can't really get to chin level or so, I'm gonna get a little bit of assistance just for that last portion of the rep. So with these, I'm not just gonna try to throw around as much weight as possible. I'm actually gonna, really squeeze it. Yeah, come on. Come on, give me some more. Come on. Come on. Right, 2 more. Okay. Oh. Yeah, it's perfect. Thanks.
Thanks for the back work.
Oh my goodness.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 more. Yeah, okay, that's good. Oh my god. Oh, holy shit. Thanks, man. Okay, so I feel like I'm freaking pretty much fully pumped, but I do want to finish it off. So I think a lighter than normal set, well, not lighter than normal, but light-ish set here on these rows. Really focus on squeezing. So I really just kind of finish off the upper mid-back pump, and then I think we go get in the posing room and check out what's going on. Okay. Oh. That might have been a little bit too light, but I think that's a good finisher. Let's go check the pump. Only 5 sets, if my math is right. All right, so after only 5 sets of pull downs and rows, kind of in alternation, no drop sets, no fancy nothing, I feel pretty satisfied with that lift. Subjectively, now I'm not saying this is correct. I'm definitely not saying 100% that this is a correct assumption, but based on all my years lifting and all my culminated knowledge and experience, whatever, I feel as though that was an effective workout. And if I were to do a lot more volume, I'm starting to think that I wouldn't really get any more muscle stimulation. So that's just my current opinion and kind of thought process. And over time, it's going to fucking change. But in combination with that change, I should also see improvements. If you change up your training style and you're also, getting bigger and better, every couple of months, after every couple of months, then clearly you're doing something right. Now, if you're the guy who's constantly changing his split and his routine and like, oh, I'm going to do German volume training. Oh, no, I'm going to try some Mike Mentzer low volume. If you're constantly changing it up, but you're not getting any results, then clearly you're fucking doing nothing. Nothing but churning time. And you got to remember, you've only got so much of that. So when it comes to training, apart from the fact that I just want to get, results on a consistent basis, right? I guess that's all I'm trying to say. I want to get results on a consistent basis. So I'm going to look at my results and the current training method and whatever else that I'm doing to get them. And if they're both improving, fuck yeah, man. Or even if the training style is the same, but I'm still making improvements, then that's sick. I guess all I'm really trying to say in a very roundabout way is make sure that your training is getting you the results that you want. Because if you're not getting results, then your training is ineffective, And that's up to you to discover. That's up to you to realize and adjust from. But let's stop delaying the pump check and then get on with this fucking lift. Oh, goodness. So, I'm gonna get off. Those spotted pull downs, I like that a lot. I'm definitely gonna fucking get spots on my pull downs from now on. Like, I can do good sets of pull downs on my own, but that extra help just to get down to that fully squeezed position, dude, it's just fucking burning. We gotta lose the tank. I don't even know why I put it on. Now it's just extra sweaty for no reason. But let's see how we're looking back pump wise. Oh my gosh. Oh, fuck. All right, now the same 2 fucking poses, but just in reverse. Yeah. All right. So I can't really see the back lat spread or the back double by. I'll have to review the footage. I've been meaning to bring in like a mirror, like with sticky pads or something, and put it on the wall so that I could see my reflection of my reflection and make on the fly adjustments like that. That'll kind of help you pose better. If you care about all this lifting shit, then you're probably going to be constantly looking at yourself shirtless, taking pictures or whatever. So if you're concerned about your posing, who gives a shit? But actually, contrary to that little state, you kind of do give a shit. You want to look cool. So, I don't know, just try to copy what other people do. You know, I remember I used to do my side chest real kind of closed in like this, but now it's gradually kind of improving. Whatever. The longer you do it, the better you'll get at it. Just focus on trying to get big instead of looking big, right? Like, if you're spending as much time editing your pictures as you are actually working out to get big for the picture, I think you've lost track. But let's go get rear delts going. So this may come as a surprise. No laying face pulls. Instead, for whatever reason, on the reverse pec deck. So moderate weight. I mean, still kind of heavy. Just kind of burn out. Honestly, I mean, just look. So I did look over the clips of that last little post session. My shoulders are fucking overpowering my back. So I think shoulders are probably going to leave the routine. At least side delts. Maybe now. I don't know. I'll have to see. But, I mean, what's the point of having absolutely monstrous shoulders if your arms and your back aren't, caught up? You kind of, I want everything to be in proportion, if you get what I'm saying. So, just because shoulders are taken off doesn't mean I got to push the gas with them, but we'll see. I'll see how I feel. Because I do like having big shoulders, but I want big everything. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's just do one more. Ah. Okay. Oh. All right. Let's go check the pump. All right, it would seem that my luck still has not failed me. And this little... So this isn't like a separate room. It's just kind of like a little corridor off of the main body of the gym. I don't know what it was actually made for. Maybe stretching or whatever. But perfect lighting. Perfect friggin' lighting. So let's... 4 sets of reverse flies, pretty heavy on the pec deck. Let's just see how they look. With side delts, usually I do kind of prefer going, I don't want to say light, but I prefer using a weight that's within my abilities to do, reasonable reps. But with rear delts, I kind of don't mind throwing around a lot of weight. It's almost counterintuitive because it is a smaller muscle than side delts. But I don't know. I feel like maybe the fact that they kind of come into play with my traps and my mid back. Maybe they're just extra strong. But you know, fuck. What do you think? The shoulders nice and rounded over. Certainly seems like it to me. Let's get a side tricep. Oh. Whew. So not only are rear delts, for one thing, just standing up, they're gonna give your shoulder a cool, rounder look, but they also add to all sorts of fucking poses. So I guess front lat spread not so much, but rear lat spread, you know, they're fucking poking out. It's a whole little ball of something right up here, just making your shoulders look taller and wider. Then they also come into play in any fucking, you know, side shot. Like, you know, side chest with a big rear delt, you know, your shoulder just creeps over the top of your tricep. Whereas if it were smaller and unpumped, it would kind of give you a, I guess, a smaller look. You know, I'm not like too in tune with all my actual bodybuilding poses because I'm not a, I mean, in technicality, I'm not a bodybuilder. I've never competed, but I'm kind of just a high level lifter right now. But, you know, it is cool to fucking, I feel like I was about to say it's cool to be big, as if that's not already fucking implied. But yeah, man, I mean, fucking shoulders pumped, biceps slightly residually pumped from back, just because it is hard to take them completely out of the equation, even with straps. Not to say that you shouldn't use straps. I'm a fucking huge straps advocate. And then back, I still feel a little something. I still feel as though I'm relatively, well, no better word than swollen. So I'm gonna go sit on the calf raise for as many sets as I need until I feel pumped. Then we get in the car. We are done.
You think you could dunk it?
No.
No.
All right. Here, hit me with my rebounds. Hit my rebounds. All right. All right, a little under. A little under. Let's just run it back. Let's get out of here. All right, we are freaking done. I actually spent a while in there chatting, hooping. What was that? 1 for 5, 20%. Not incredible, but whatever. Not like that's going to affect my back, rear delt, and calf pump. So now I just get to go home and eat. Changing up the diet a little bit. Changing up the diet. Instead of getting my typical, you know, 6 assorted Krispy Kreme donuts, they've got some sort of seasonal ones. So pumpkin and like kind of apple pie style. It's kind of cool. Quickly digestible carbs in my eyes, as well as I've got half of a ribeye that I had earlier, and then I'm probably gonna make another one in a little bit. I do think that you know, leaning towards red meat is not your worst bet. That is what I'm beginning to believe. Red meats, or ground beef, some steaks, plus some eggs with the yolks, of course, omega-3s. I think the omega-3 is legit, man. I've been doing a ton of fish oil too in the morning, like fucking 8 capsules worth. Maybe it'd be better to spread it out throughout the day, but whatever. So that's probably the plan for the post-workout meal, some steak and donuts. And then I am thirsty. Even my whole jug with some Silo 9 today was not enough. I need to fill that thing up. So I'll probably have the steak, the donuts. I'll definitely make some rice too. I am going to need some more carbs. But I'm going to probably have a liter or 2 of water at the same time. I'm thirsty. You got to remember, all these carbs and proteins and everything else in your blood, it's got to get siphoned around with water. You know, you want to be properly hydrated. You need to be a machine that is full of fluids and electrolytes to make sure everything is moving around properly. Plus, apart from just general, you know, performance benefits, you're just going to feel better when you're fully hydrated, man. And I'm talking about water with electrolytes as well. You know, I couldn't tell you the last time I had a headache. Actually, I could tell you the last time I had a headache. It was like 2 days ago because I didn't drink enough fucking water, and I didn't have a little electrolyte mix combined with it. I woke up and I was like, oh, I kind of feel like, oh, my fucking head hurts a little bit. What's going on here? Boom, dehydrated. Immediate cause and effect. You know? So, sure, it's a little, oh my God, I almost hit this guy. Sure, it could be a little cheesy to be walking around with your gallon jug, at least in other people's eyes. But who gives a fuck what they think, man? You gotta stay hydrated. You gotta make sure you got enough fluids in your system to contribute to a freaky ass pump later on in the day. And if walking around with an empty, whole milk gallon jug is how you gotta do it, then that's how you gotta do it. But yeah, probably go home, eat that. It's 9 o'clock. It feels like it's midnight. I think I'm getting hit with the um with a daylight savings effect. It feels much later than it is right now, which is kind of interesting. But whatever, what freaking ever. So tomorrow's gonna be arms. Depending on how I feel, I'll throw biceps in again. I can tell the right one is just slightly tweaked, and I don't want to do anything to perpetuate some kind of tear. Because the last thing you want to do if you're hurt is to just try to keep pushing through it, and then instead of making progress, you're just increasing the severity of that injury. And then after a while, you're gonna have to say, "All right, holy shit, I'm really fucked now." This always fucking gets me going. If you go to the same gym around the same time on a consistent basis, you're gonna you're gonna end up being chummy with everybody that's around there. So I'll see dudes all the time, and I know, like, all right, this guy's always talking about his hurt rotator cuff, and I'm like, dude, hey, what are you hitting, man? What are you busting out? He's like, oh, I got some chest, but dude, my shoulder. Dude, my fucking shoulder hurts every time I bench. And I'm watching him fucking set up a bench on a rack, and I'm looking at him like, all right, what are you freaking doing? What are you doing, man? Come on. Just silly. So, as much as you do want to, push through it, you've got to have the presence of mind to really analyze your own situation and say, okay, pump the brakes a little bit. I'm just going to end up getting fucking hurt. You know, I always talk about some shit like, or I mean, I've said this before, like, I'd rather get hurt from training hard than not get hurt from, training soft, which to an extent, I do kind of believe that. Like, I want to train as hard. Really, the notion that I'm trying to get at with that little phrase is just make sure you really push it. But obviously, I don't want to fucking get hurt. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. That's just going to interrupt my training, and that will affect the pump. Right? That fits the criteria of something that is going to affect my pumps. So that pings my radar loud AF, and I go, holy shit. All right, I better take some action. I better make a smart move here instead of, getting hurt worse and then turning, maybe a couple week tweak into a lifelong fucking situation. I mean, I know your dad complains about his shoulder all the fucking time, or he's had some shoulder injuries. Do you really think that's just from, and also let's couple that with, like, he's been lifting, or he at least lifted for a while when he was younger. You really think that's just because that's what happens? I'm a little bit more inclined to believe that he probably fucking did some shit that hurt his shoulder, and then instead of stopping, doing his rotator rehabilitative work with maybe some bands or some light dumbbells or some cables, you know, a little side note. Anytime my rotator cuff gets crunchy, which it has happened before, especially when I bench with a very wide stance and I flare my elbows out too much. I've been good about that recently, so my shoulders have been good. But it has happened before, and it's put me out of benching because every rep is like, it's fucked. But every time I've done that, right, I don't bench or I don't do anything that hurts it anymore. I'll still try to do some chest activations with cable press or, pec deck or just something. I'll do something that lets me stimulate whatever muscle is impeded, but that doesn't hurt it, of course. And then every time that's happened, when I do my little face pulls with light with a cable and a D handle, and then some rotator stuff like this, or with a dumbbell or even a band, whatever, Every time I've done that for a while, it has done me good. It has freaking done me good. I mean, that's my warm up now every chest day. So, starting to think that that is not the worst method to go about. I don't want to say bulletproofing, but strengthening your whole shoulder situation, your whole shoulder anatomy. But yeah, so I'm sure that, he fucking kept doing something that hurt, pushing through it, and now looking back, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't have done that. So train as hard as you can, but if, for whatever circumstance, you do happen to get some kind of tweak, don't fucking make it worse. Don't be a fool. Back off a little bit. You're not a chump for backing off if you know you're fucking hurting yourself. Because you're just interfering with your own gains. And that's just your ego that kind of wants immediate satisfaction. Like, I'm not injured. I'm just going to keep pushing through it. This isn't going to stop me. Right? That's the mentality in your mind. But, it's just not the best way to go about it. You got to have a little more, you got to be a little bit more enlightened and know, all right, the next couple of months I'll be back to normal, but got to back off this, that, or the other for now. Always the best move. Always the freaking best move. So, I don't know what I was planning on talking about, but it turned into a little bit of an injury rant. So, tomorrow, cardio in the morning, of course, and then arms, tries, buys, potentially, as well as forearms. Calves today was pretty good. I did some leg, not some, I always say, I did some calf raises on the leg press to start. Couple single leg, couple double leg. And then I went to the seated calf machine where the plate loaded. Oh my God. Yeah, the plate loaded one for a couple. So I think I did 5 sets for calves. And after those 5, I thought to myself, all right, fully pumped, feel pretty stimulated. Let's freaking roll. So I think that is about all I got. So this morning's weight was 245. So we'll see how that changes over the next couple of days. But I think that's just about my fully carved up weight. So obviously the starting weight technically for the bulk was like 230, but there's a weekish, 2-ish week spike in weight getting up to my fed state from, my flattened, depleted, dieted state. So really I'd almost say that the start of the bulk's weight is about probably 245. And then we'll just have to freaking see where it goes from there. We've got a couple of solid months. I just gotta make sure I keep my fridge full and the stove cooking. And I think that is all I freaking got. So if you're doing your cardio now, you're a baller. If you're not doing it, then you know how I feel about that. So get a good lift, get a good pump. Pretty classic advice. Pretty freaking classic advice from your friend Sam. So I'll freaking see you next time, playa.